From the very first alignment we created, we've seen labels automatically being added to our alignment along a range of the station of the alignment, such as major stations, minor stations, our PI labels, as well as curve geometry labels. How does that work, and how do we edit this collection of labels? Let's go to our exercise here. I'm going to choose to open 0605 align label set. In this case, our alignment has no labels. So I'm going to go ahead and select our alignment, and I'm going to choose to add labels. We're adding labels in connection with the stationing. So I'm going to choose to add edit station labels. A dialog box opens up, our window, and all of these different labels can be added automatically as we make adjustments or create our alignment. Major stations, minor stations, geometry points, that's referring to horizontal geometry, such as our beginning point, our PCs, PTs, and so forth. Station equations, design speeds, if our design speed changes at all along our alignment. Profile geometry points, this is powerful. So we can select the profile and then the different geometry, and it will label the vertical information along our alignment. And then super elevation critical points as well. Very powerful also to have those labeled depending upon the type of alignment and design we're doing. So what we want to do, we're going to add some major station labels. So I select the type, and based upon the type, we'll make a difference on the different label styles available. And we're simply going to choose to add a major station label type using this style. We're going to also add a minor station. You see the styles changed. That's fine. Go ahead and click add. And one more type, geometry points. And we'll click add. When I choose geometry points, it says, well, which geometry points do you want to label? So not only can we label geometry points, but we can control which geometry points to label. Again, very powerful. For example, do we really want to label the curve midpoint? Sometimes we don't even want to label the alignment beginning. We already have a label there at 0 plus 0, 0, and so on and so forth. So you can make some adjustments here. Check or uncheck what you want to label. Click OK. If you didn't get it right the first time, you can always click the three dots and get that selection of geometry points back again. So we have three different types of labels that are going to be added to our alignment. Here are the styles applied. We can choose to change those styles simply by clicking that icon. When we refer to major stations, what is really the increment of the major station? When we refer to minor stations, maybe we want our increment to be every 25 feet. In this case, we'll use every 50. So we have some control. And if you notice, the minor stations are indented. The minor stations really can't be added without a major station there. Ultimately, if you're adding minor stations without a major station, you're really adding major stations with a maybe lower increment. What happens is because minor stations are a child of major stations, if they share the same location for a label, major stations win. More than that, we can apply these labels, geometry points, stations, and so forth, to a specific range on the alignment. Now, because these checkboxes are selected, it will apply automatically to the start and end and go the full length of the alignment, even if it changes. But we can manually control and change the station or the label from 0 plus 0, 0 to 10 plus 0, 0 simply by unchecking and typing a different number here. And then we can add another major stations label with a different style that picks up at 10 plus 0, 0 and follows along, or 11 plus 0, 0, and so forth. We're going to go ahead and check that it's going to apply to all. And once we've done all of this, then we can actually save a label set. And we can name it something like Linda or LinkedIn. And the only difference really between a label set style and a label collection or group is the start and end stationing to that information. So go ahead and click OK and save that label set so I can import it on the next alignment, or we can even change our default settings and our feature settings to use that label set. I click OK. Those labels are automatically added now to my geometry. And if I change any of the geometry of my alignment, those labels automatically will adjust. They follow that alignment and apply those labels according to the information or type that we have. Now, in some cases, we may want those labels to disappear. We already looked at how we can control those geometry point labels. We don't need both labels here. So if I hold the Control key down and pick the 0 plus 0, 0 label, it will always pop up and ask me if I want to use the filter. But in this case, I'm simply selecting that one label. You remember, we added the labels as a group. If I chose the 0 plus 0, 0 without Control selected, I grab all of the labels. But if I go back and just choose using the Control, and then pick, I only grab the 0 plus 0, 0. And notice in the Properties palette, I can choose to set its visibility to 0. And so I can remove just that label from being visible in the entire label set. Now you can make other adjustments to these labels, such as selecting one of them, and even though all of them are highlighted, if I choose to flip the label, it will then only flip that one that I selected. And so you can put some on one side, some on another. You can make some not visible and so forth, depending on the needs of the edits and the textual conflicts. There is so much power to these labels and making them legible and work for you. Continue to look at the contextual ribbon on any labels that you have selected, and the power with these label group labels using the Control key when we pick.